What is going on, guys? Welcome to another super cool episode of Rendezvous with Yash Chauhan. Today we have with us Mr. Bhisham Bateja. So thanks a lot for being here, sir.
Yeah, hi guys. Thanks,
So,
Yash. Thanks for inviting me.
sure, sir, sure. So for those of you who do not know, sir is the COO of The Man Company. You might have heard of this company. It's a men's grooming company and definitely a company revolutionizing the way men's groom themselves, especially in India. Because I remember, 4 5 years or before right now, there wasn't really any company which was really so much into men's grooming. It was considered like men's grooming was considered to be a luxury more than a necessity, and this is something that Sir's company is changing along the way. So the first question that I would like to ask you is that you are the CEO at the Man Company, or the Chief Operating Officer. So what are the roles which come, along with this title?
So my role is from the time the conceptualization of the product till it reaches to the customer. This is my complete. It's basically it starts with the product development. What kind of ingredients, what kind of product should come. Then we finalize. Okay, we have to make this product. Then we make a lot of samples. We get it tested. Then we finalize on the artwork. Then we artwork is being done by some other team. Then it comes to me. Okay, this product we have to make, and then I talk to. My team talks to a lot of vendors for the packaging material. Then we get it manufactured. It comes to my warehouse. Then we pack it and then we sell it to the customers. So this is a whole journey, and I am responsible for each and everything till the time it reaches to my customer, from the inception till it reaches to the customer.
Got it, sir. And so what is that process like? Like how long does it take on a timeline from the conceptualization to the final release of the project?
Around 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months for each project, you would say?
Yeah, each project.
Okay, got
and
it.
Then once launched, then we have different tags for different products with different manufacturers, and then it keeps on refilling the new stock. We keep refilling the new stock.
Understood, sir. So how often does your company release a new product into the market?
Every month.
Every month. So is it one product every month, or like a group of products every month, or like?
Depends. At times we launch 2 to 3 products also a month, and at times we launch one product, or we may not launch. But in a year, you can say we launch 20 products or so.
Got it, sir. Got it. So you are a true-bred entrepreneur. Like you started in college with a canteen. So that's something which very few people like across the country would have done. Like especially if it was not something which had to be done out of necessity, out of passion. There are very few people who do that. And you were one of them. So the first thing I would like to ask you is that where did this love for entrepreneurship come from? And secondly, what are the most common challenges that you have faced in entrepreneurship, which people usually do not know about? Like when they read a book about entrepreneurship, they do not get to know those problems.
So as you rightly said, my running canteen in my college was purely out of passion, and that time there was a need in the college for a canteen, night canteen. My college B school, there used to be a day canteen, and there was some problem that students were facing, and we told management, okay, that we'll run the canteen, and they agreed. So we were running 3 canteens in 3 hostels in my B school. That was my first entrepreneurial stint, and there were a lot of learnings from there. And from there, I learned a thing called that whatever it takes to do the job.
Yeah.
Give example. So we just started this canteen. My college was in Hyderabad, so we hired few local people, 6 employees we hired, and we saw that on the 7th day, we started on one Sunday. Second Sunday, all 6 of them resigned. They didn't come for the job, but we had to run the show. We did everything. We cut the veg. We used to make sandwiches, etc. We cut the vegetables. We washed utensils, whatever it took. But we ran the show. The show didn't stop. We ran the show, and during next 1 week, we arranged new set of employees, trained them, and probably this mess was cleared 15-20 days from the day they resigned. So the only thing which I say to everybody, that the thing I learned is like, whatever it takes,
do whatever it takes. Got it.
So this is one kind of a mantra which I always keep in mind, that as an entrepreneur you should follow this policy, whatever it takes. If you follow this, definitely you can do a lot of things which initially you think are impossible. We could have also thought, okay, no problem, we will not run the canteen today or for 5 days. We're not doing it for money. We're doing it out of passion. Nothing's going to happen. Nobody will say that, okay, why the canteen is not operational and all. But we took the challenge and we did it. And that's how, same thing if I apply every day in my business, being an operations head, I have to face this challenge. Every day, I have to face this challenge. Okay, there are some issues which needs to be solved, and you have to follow this approach.
Got it. So one cross question on this would be that how did you manage your college workload along with running a canteen? And you're saying there were 3 canteens that you were running simultaneously. So how did you manage that workload?
So we were friends. We were running it. So there were like people were there with me, my batchmates basically. But see, it was a night canteen and we used to manage somehow. I don't think we never felt that pain that we have to study, and we got good grades also. It's not like that we didn't good grades also, all of us. But I think B school, that's not a problem. That can be managed.
Okay. Because usually the the outlook towards B school is that it's very hardcore work and like you barely get time for anything else. That's where that question came from.
Party also, no? In B school, how do they get time for partying?
So it's about choosing what you want to prioritize in your life. Got it.
I did the second year, my third semester. First 2 semesters we studied well. We got all of us had scholarships also. We did well. Third semester we felt we can manage the show, so we took that plunge. So that way. I don't think so. That's a challenge. If there is a will, people can do that. That's not a problem.
So got it. So skipping forward to right now, COVID has had a very bad impact on the economy of the whole world, and even in India with the cases rising, it isn't getting any better. So first question with that regard would be, how is your company coping? And secondly, what are the things you're implementing to kind of soften the blow that you're getting?
See, there are 2 things. Professionally, if you see business-wise, April was a very low month. It was completely washed off. We didn't have much sales. It was very low sales. 10% of what I did in March, I was doing in April. 10 or 15%, I would say. But slowly we started recovering. Still, my offline business is in bad shape, but online business is growing. It's back on track. I think I'm doing pre-COVID or more than pre-COVID numbers in online business right now. If we say last month I did much better than in online business than my pre-COVID numbers. And yes, offline sales are down. It will take a lot of time to revive. And as a thing, like what everybody is doing, we are working from home, especially except for my operations warehouse, because warehouse we have to open, people have to come, they have to work, but we are managing all those guidelines by the government of mask or sanitization or social distancing, whatever is required. But in the corporate office, we're working from home. We're not pressurizing anybody to come home, and as in when if something is required, we go to the office. Otherwise, we are still working from home.
Got it. So understood. Got that. So my next question would be that you have graduated from a very prestigious B school, IBS Hyderabad, and that's a very good school where the curriculum and everything is very well respected. So all these years down the line, after being in the workforce and being part of the drive of the economy, what do you feel about this question that what you learned in B school, the theory, the things that you learned in class, were they actually applicable in the real life scenarios? If yes, then where? And if not, what was it that was most essential for success?
See, I don't see studying in a B school, you get to learn various aspects of business, and you touch those aspects. You don't, like, for example, I am an engineer. I had never studied accounting in my life, but I did in my B. And being business, you have to be on top of the accounts. If you don't understand, then better you start understanding the account. Okay. Unless and until you accounts, because accounts is the backbone of the business.
Totally.
People say that we'll outsource. Okay, there are CAs and all, but you have to understand the basic maths. So my question is that from the B school, we touch on every aspects of the business, be it be operations, be it be finance, be it be accounts, be it be any marketing, whatever, everything you touch. But business, you have to deal as an entrepreneur, as a small startup, you have to deal with all those subjects which you just touched in depth and in much more detail. Supply chain, what I studied in B school, is a very generic supply chain, which is a very generic, which is applicable in a steel industry also, which is applicable in a oil field also, which is applicable in a retail also. But my specific e-commerce is very different. So it's just that in B school, you just touch base upon those things. You get some fair idea. Okay, logistics, supply chain, there's something. But in depth, you realize how to deal the small nuances, and these nuances are every day, and you have to find your own way. No book can tell you, okay, do this and you will get it. Nothing's gonna. It doesn't work like.
Understood, sir.
You have to use your hands. You have to make mistakes. You have to learn from those mistakes. But the only thing in the success of the business is that you have to learn fast. B school knowledge will not take you to a good B school knowledge may not be applicable in the business success. Business success is because you need in-depth knowledge of that particular subject. You have to basically need practical knowledge, which we don't have.
Which comes from experience.
You do lot of case studies, but case studies are on paper. You will not realize. So I'll give you. What I learned in my B school during my canteen days is far more than what I learned from the books.
Yes, sir.
And if I make a case study out of what I did, people will do a very good job. But the moment I ask those people, those students, to replicate that case study into practical world, then half of them who succeed in answering all those questions will fail. Because on the field, when you are on the road and you have to take calls, a lot of gut is also being utilized there.
Totally.
So that's what I'm trying to say. It's a bookish knowledge, theoretical knowledge. People say there are a lot of case studies, methodology and all. That's okay. But case study also, you are sitting in a room and doing a case study. You're not on the street, on the road, dealing with the employees and doing the case study.
So can we put it this way, that in the book it is in a more idealistic and a utopian sense, but where you get down on the ground to actually do the work, you realize that there are a lot more finer aspects involved that you can only learn when you do the work.
Yes, definitely.
Got it, sir.
Definitely.
So would you agree
so many
with
things?
So would you agree with the fact that to cover up that gap between the theory and the practical application, people need to do internships and do apprenticeship to actually learn how it's done during school and college years, or should they wait to learn it in their careers? What would you prefer?
No. They should, whenever, from I think starting the age of 18, if anybody gets a chance to work somewhere either for free or for money, the student, you should do that. I regret, why didn't I start working from at the age of 18 also? When I graduated, when I finished my school, I could have taken jobs, whatever.
Totally.
Whatever.
That's something which even I would share with you. Because with the recent change in the education system, it's kids from class 6th now onwards can do internships. I started when I was in class 11. And I was okay, if I could do it from class 6, then I was just where would I have been? That extra 6 years, that extra 4-5 years ka, boost.
I that because 6 years a kid is a kid, but okay, I don't know.
But then it's like the intention of that is that you do not actually go in and like work, but you just see and observe. Like a class 6 student, even if he just goes to an office, he can observe things. It's better than just sitting in a class.
Like that time in the playground in the field to be physically fit and all. That's what I would love my kid to do that. But anyways, you may have a point. But yes, from the class 12, when like you have crossed, you're an adult basically, then definitely whenever you get a chance to, because this working environment gives you a very practical experience.
Yeah.
And this working environment gives you a sense of how to deal with people, because business is all about dealing with people.
Yeah,
it's very important to know how to deal with people.
Totally. So next question would be, how did the Man Company start? Like, how did that come to be? Like, you were a part of the e-commerce field for a very long time, but how did the Man Company come?
So me and my partner Hitesh, and we have one more a third partner, Parvesh. So around 2012, me and my partner Hitesh, we are childhood friends. We went to LKG together and we are still together. And Parvesh is, again, we connected in 2012. So we were just thinking that all of us have different varied experiences. And that time we were studying the grooming industry, and we knew that men's grooming is going to come in place, because it was the stuff was going on in US, and we took around 3 years to study, research, distribution, everything, and in 2015 then we launched. So it's basically was a gut, lot of market was saying. We attended exhibitions where this hypothesis of ours become more stronger that okay, men's grooming will come, and it's a matter of time when it will come to it.
Totally. Like, especially that Ayushmann Khurrana wala ad which you guys put out, it really picked up on social media. That was a very great initiative, so must say.
It was a completely team effort from us as well as from Ayushmann Khurrana's team, where all of us together made that that happen. It's a cumulative team effort from everybody.
Wow, sir. But it was really like, it was something which needed to be addressed, and your company addressed it in a very unique manner that also led to your endorsement, whereas also on a very important social issue. So totally hats off to that, sir.
Yes, that was that we are launching. That was the first launch video with Ayushmann Khurrana, and we thought that it should have a social message as well.
Got it.
And generally we try as a brand, we try to come up with these softer issues of society which
need to be addressed.
People are not touching. We try. We just try to address at times.
Got it. So after all these years in the in the working experience field, what would you say is the most important skill in business and in like professional life in general?
So first thing is common sense. You do, particularly in my business, if I say, suppose if the business is a tech business, then obviously you need technical skills. If you are making a website or you have a SaaS-based platform or whatever, you need some technical skills. But otherwise, if you're running a brand business, you should have common sense. First thing. And if you have common sense, then I think you have won 50% of the battle. And then second comes hard work, which is again very, very important. And the third is luck also. Luck also plays a good role. But I would say 50% common sense, 35-40% is hard work, and 10% is luck.
Got it. So when you talk about common sense, could you please elaborate a bit more as to what exactly do you mean by common sense?
Common sense is logical thinking, futuristic thinking. You have to, when you dealing with common sense, if you have common sense, you'll automatically realize that all the things will fall in place. Like I told you that business is all about dealing with people. If you have common sense, then you will know how to talk to somebody, be it be your vendor, be it be your employee, be it be your customer, and how to talk, when to talk, what not to talk. all these things will fall in place if you apply your mind, logic. When I say common sense, all these things are a part of common sense.
Got it.
And one thing that you have to be patient enough.
Yeah.
Patience plays an important role.
Totally.
Because you cannot expect results to come overnight. You have to be very patient. Keep trying. You will make mistakes and accept those mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Should not keep defending your mistake.
So there is one thing which is called grit and perseverance, that you keep trying, and there is another thing which is being delusional, where you just do not accept the fact that okay, this is not working. So first thing, what according to you is the difference between the two, and secondly, how do you realize which is which?
It's a very difficult thing because at times whatever is your idea is there. You think that this is the best. So that's what I said. We have to accept our mistakes. That's why I said, as an entrepreneur or as an individual also, but we are talking about entrepreneurship as an entrepreneur, you should accept your mistake. So first thing is that in business, you have to make quick decisions. Very quick. Today, I'll making this decision. I'll apply this thing, whatever process, whatever decision we have taken. And after 10 days, we'll review it. If 10th day we see there is some problem, we might take a 360 degree and we start doing something else also. So it's okay. In business, you have to take quick decisions, fast decisions and bold decisions. All three of this you have to do. But at the same time, you have to review your own decision. You have to review it. If you think, no, this is not going right, accept it. Acceptance of your mistakes is very important. You may have thought, so I'll tell you, we also launch some products, they don't click. And it's all researched, everything is fine, product is good, everything is fine. At times it doesn't click. So we try to find out. We are not like we start pushing that product. Okay, no, this is the best I made, this, that. No, we start finding out reasons. Okay, there must be 3, 4, 5 reasons, A, B, C, D, E. We try to rectify that. If still also it's not working, we discard that. What do you do? It's not working. It's not working. You have to accept your mistake.
Accepting the facts when it's not working and making the changes quickly.
Yeah. Quickly. You should. If you are not, suppose you are not able to find out, talk to some expert here. Talk to somebody. Find out. Everybody has some connection, some mentors. Try to talk to them. They might help you out. And still you are not getting it. You can come up. You can discard it. Okay, it's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working. But yes, you are right. That thin line, where to draw that line, that keep trying or stay away from it. It will come from experience. But first fact, if you have this attitude will be across in your life, that accept your mistakes. It will not come in your business, it will come in your personal life also.
Yeah, it comes from humility, right? I guess. Like that's where it stems from.
Yeah, humility. And there's one more thing, like you are on the road, there are road rages, at times you are also wrong. Then you should have enough strength to say, okay, boss, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. If you have this kind of business also, you have to take some calls. You have to take some bold calls. And they go wrong also.
Understood.
At times they go, many of the times it goes wrong. But it went wrong, correct it. Do the other way, third way.
Understood.
But correct. But keep trying.
Samajh gaya, sir. Got it. So my next question would be, like, once again, this is with relation to like your company. When your company is specifically like, hiring someone, let's say, so what are the things you look for in that, your ideal hierarchy? Okay, this is the kind of person I want for the company. Like definitely for different roles, it will vary. But if we want to like just generalize it, okay, these are the kind of marks we are looking for. These are the kind of skills we are looking for. These are the kind of work ethics we are looking for. So what would that generalized idealization would be?
Okay. So first thing is that suppose that person is required suppose I'm hiring somebody for modern trade. So first thing is that he should have modern trade experience. That is given. I will not see degrees and all. I am not that kind of person. Somebody has a relevant experience and degree is there, not there, I don't mind. Marks, I never see marks. Okay. So first of all, that person should have relevant experience what I'm looking for. Okay, so I give example of modern trade business. He should have a modern trade. Then second, this will be a weightage of 30 to 40%. Rest all will depend on the attitude, how the person I feel is like when you talk to that person, I talk to them about their families, I talk to them about their past experience, not the technical generalized experience, what did they learn, so from that you can judge the attitude of the person. He should be a go-getter. Specifically in my kind of a company where we are a small startup, we have to have people who are go-getters, who have to believe in whatever it takes. We don't have any other option.
Yeah,
we try with the full strength. So I think I'll give 30 to 40% weightage on the skill. Rest all will be on the attitude, behavior, how he will handle his team, all these softer part of the things. I give importance to them. Degree and all, frankly, it doesn't matter to me. Or rather, in my company, it doesn't matter. We don't believe that somebody has to be from a good B school, good engineering college with 9 CGPA or 10 CGPA. It doesn't matter. If somebody has 5 CGPA also and from a B grade college also, but he has these qualities what we are looking for, definitely we'll definitely hire him. We don't get impressed with the degrees. Though I know those people are also good. But yes, if that person has
but that's not the most primary factor that you look for.
That person has degree, but he doesn't have the kind of skills, softer skills I'm looking for, then I may, because these skills, attitude, how to talk to people, behavior, loyalty, honesty, all these things are the base of your company, and we should always keep it strong.
Got it, sir. So, would you say that is something which is just personal for your company, but you have been in interaction with many people from different companies? So, is that something which is kind of constant or more like seen most of the times, or are other companies different and they look for the degree in the?
Depends on the entrepreneur. Depends on the head.
If we were to get a percentage, which percentage believes in your school of thought and which ones believe
I'm a wrong person to. No comments on this.
Okay, got it.
Every style of working, and I cannot comment on this, but yes, but I would still say if I have to make a guesstimate, like 60% of the people would like to have people who have this kind of attitude. Apart from this, they may say, okay, this is must, but I want a degree from a good B school also.
Got it.
So apart from that, some people might have, okay, apart from this, I need a good B school degree also, because it's a need of the hour, whatever it is.
Understood.
But the softer skills which I told you are must for I think all the companies.
Got it. So that's loyalty, honesty, common sense,
attitude, positive attitude,
the never give up spirit.
First, no, and then you have to convince them. Then there are a lot of people who say yes, and then they think how we will do that. There are difference. We also hire wrong people. So when we talk to them, they'll always say, no, this is not possible. Then we have to tell them, okay, how this is possible. There are a set of people who will say, yes, sir, I'll try my best to get this done. So these are the same problem will be handled by two people in two different ways.
Yeah, totally.
And the person who says, yes, it can be done. The first thing is, yes, it can be done, but I need this support, or we need to do these changes. So this is one attitude. The second is, no sir, this cannot be done.
Got it. So it's the way you're looking for. I'll get it done, but I'll have to find out how to get it done.
Yeah, you have to find out your own way.
Got it. Understood, sir.
Find your own way.
Got it. So you said that you would give around 40 to 50% weightage to the past experience of the person. Let's say.
40.
Yeah. So what if there is someone who's...
Relatability of the experience. Relatability of the experience. The kind of post I'm hiring.
Okay, got it, sir. So what advice would you give to, let's say, a student who is in first year college, who's starting out, and he wants to, enter the business world? So how should he start preparing for this kind of a job role? Like what kind of experience should he be doing And
when I say experience, so we hire freshers also. So there we don't expect them to work on. Suppose in modern trade, if I have to hire a junior person, then I will not expect him to be having some. I'm hiring now also. I just spoke to my partner some 1 hour back, and we are hiring some freshers from some V school. So we don't expect them. We are very clear. Okay, we'll hire freshers and we'll train them, and they'll do this job. So that job is assigned for a fresher. So when I said experience, I meant if the positions require some kind of expertise, then that has what.
Got it.
But that position is for freshers, like I'm telling you, then I don't expect them to work anywhere. Internships and all they have done, that's an added advantage. But
so what do you look for in freshers?
The softer skills, what I said.
So it's just the softer skills which make up the 100% of your criteria?
Yeah, obviously.
Wow, that's great, sir.
Because I can't judge him on because he has not worked. How do I judge him on this works? What he has done. And marks, okay. Tell you very basic things. I am not too fussy. I have never seen. I don't see that part also of the mark sections of people said I got this CGPA. That's okay. Because I know bookish language is very different from the practical world. I want the attitude first. If attitude is right, we can get everything done from anywhere.
Got it. Understood, sir. Got that. So, just a couple more questions left. The next question would be, you said that you wish you started at an earlier age, right?
Yeah.
Like working and all that stuff. So what advice would you give to someone who's, let's say, passing out from class 12th this year? What are the things he should try out? What are the skills that are in demand in the industries which the person should look at? And secondly, what was your mindset when you passed out from college?
Okay, so first thing for the young guys who are just getting, they've just finished their 12th standard, I would say that say skills keep on changing. What skill is required now, probably 5 years down the line, you may not.
Yeah,
the skill is not
is very low now. Yeah,
very low. So you should keep learning stuff because with the learning, you basically horizon your thought process. The thought process, you broaden the horizon of your thought process.
Totally.
So that's why you keep on learning anything. I would say anything which you don't. And because see what I'll tell you today, and after suppose I'll tell you, e-commerce, you should learn digital marketing, you should know this. Probably 3 years down the line, in digital marketing, you are learning Facebook and all. Probably 3 years down the line, Facebook is not required. Only there's some other place, some other thing.
Got it.
But yes, the basics of digital marketing will remain same.
Yeah,
it will not change. So I'll say that you should learn what interests you. You should not learn what is there in the market.
Understood.
First thing is that, and then you should. My thing is that you should not. Suppose you get a chance to get an internship in any place, be it McDonald's. You start working in McDonald's. Working in McDonald's. You will learn a lot of stuff. Dealing with people, you learn there. Rather than anywhere.
Like this is something which I have noticed in the Indian upbringing, is that many parents they have that thing ki अरे नहीं ये मेरा बच्चा ये McDonald's में थोड़ी काम करेगा, they have that thing, whereas this thing is not there like outside India. So that's definitely a factor which I guess plays.
Yeah, it's not there, but we should change it. We should have to get suppose that kid goes to B school and he gets an internship in McDonald's, and they will again send him to the same place, the same store. What does he do?
Yeah.
So it's just because in 12th class, after 12th, he's going by choice, and during his MBA days, he has to go by force. It's the same place, same job. A lot of people sell insurance during their MBA internship. It's also the same thing. So I don't think so. That's a wrong mindset. You are right. The mindset is there. But first thing is that if as a student, we feel that we should not, it's not a small job or whatever, it's a learning platform. Then I think you can your parents, because when you want something, you can convince your parents for that thing, be it be a gadget, be it a clothes, be it whatever. So if you yourself are convinced that I should be doing that job, that will give me, that's a learning platform.
Yeah.
It's a practical learning platform, then you can convince anybody in the world.
Understood, sir. Got it. And so the second part, what was your mindset like when you passed out? Like even after passing out from your engineering and even after passing out from your MBA, like both those things.
Okay, so after engineering, actually, I wanted to set up I'm an automobile engineer. I wanted to set up my automobile workshop. So back then, 22 years old, and my father supported me. He said, okay, I calculated everything, what kind of money is required, what kind of resources are required. But then I realized it, and that was my internal call, that I was too young to handle that kind of investment. And I think that was a wrong thought of mine. I should have started then only. During those days only, because I did automobile engineering by passion, and setting up a workshop was a very connected role. But still, I missed the bus, and it was purely my call. So I always wanted to do entrepreneurship. But after college, yes, entrepreneurship was there at the back of the mind. But yes, that time after B school, there was this thing that, okay, we should learn the corporate world, how it works and all. And that's why I think back of the mind entrepreneurship was there. But then to learn the ladders of the corporate, you have to work in corporate.
So there are many people who have a divided view on this. There are some people who say ki, like, once you're done with college, straight away get into entrepreneurship, start trying out and figure your own path. Whereas there are some people who believe ki nahi, college khatam hua, do a corporate job for 3-4 years, learn how the corporate world works, and then start your own venture. So what would your take be on that, like in hindsight?
I think if I think you should, after college, you should start your own thing if you have the idea.
Got it, sir. So
if I have to revisit again, I would say that after once I'm out of the college, I'll start my own thing.
Yeah, you wouldn't invest those years into working for someone, but rather going on your own.
Learn in those years. I'm not denying the fact you learn on those years.
Yeah, totally.
But I think you should start early. You will make mistakes early. You'll correct them early.
Got it. Understood, sir. So just one last question, and this is from my viewers' side. So basically, I put out an Instagram poll, like if they have any questions for you. And one question which I got, which I selected for this, was if someone wants to do an internship in your company, be it someone who's based in the NCR region, so they can do from there, or maybe a work from home internship. So first thing, does your company offer any such internships? And secondly, if yes, how and where can the students apply?
See, we till last year we were offering internships when people can physically come to our office, and we used to hire interns from some of these schools. And but this year, because of this COVID and all, because we are not physically, you cannot come. So we have not taken any interns.
Okay.
But for the next coming years, yes, definitely you can contact hr@themancompany.com and they will get back.
Got it, sir. So thanks a lot for your time, sir. It was really an honor.
Okay, thank you.
Being with you, and definitely, I'm pretty sure the audience also learned a lot. Thanks a lot for your time, sir.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, sir.